Greetings, people of the world. Matthew back with you here in Over Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV on Realm Reborn. It is day 34 of 75 for EDSS here in the Realm Reborn, and yesterday we were finally given the long-awaited information on the whereabouts of the Sylph Elder Frixio. And we found that said Sylph Elder can be found in this scary location, amongst flying enemies, evil plants, and a whole bunch of other crap here in the Thousand Maws of Toto-Rak. So this is where we will be taking on this pursuit. So yeah, it's been a few days since I've seen you guys last. Last time I was giving you an update was back on Thursday. But now I have returned after coming back from the convention that I was at, involving myself and a few hundred my fellow volunteers. That was occurring in Toronto, and so glad to be back as we continue on with the pursuit of Final Fantasy XIV and Realm Reborn. And day 33's video will also be going up at the same time this is going up, so no need to worry. You will be able to catch up on everything that has happened, so no reason to miss out on what I'm doing. Even though I couldn't upload anything for a few days, my resolve to ensure that I would get back on schedule and ensure that everything would be made available on a specific day is going to return to its regular standard. And the Eternal Sonata LP will also be getting back to schedule in a couple of days as well. But yeah, it was certainly... I've been going to this volunteer convention, as I mentioned, and it certainly is not the same event that it was a long time ago. Or even last year, for that matter, because yeah, a lot changed. And there was definitely some scary moments, actually, during this event that I had never seen before and that were unprecedented. And for being the delegate for the volunteer chapter that I was a part of, to see what was going on here was really unfortunate, and we were shocked that it was essentially a bunch of us, people who were being the delegates for our various volunteer chapters, were discovering that there were some goings-on that were out of line, as it were, and we didn't know about this until the meeting started. This was going over 2 days. It was the first of the 2-day meeting that someone just comes out of the blue. The person who's the president of our territory here in Ontario just comes out of nowhere and says, "Hey, guess what? One of our own has done some really bad things, and I want to bring up a vote of no confidence against this person." And so it was just brought up to us out of the blue, and we're like, we do not want... Everyone who was a delegate for their respective volunteer chapter really said to the person in charge, we were like, we don't want to deal with your dirty laundry, and we don't want this to be dropped on us, because it was a blindside. This pretty much happened out of nowhere, and we were very shocked by it, sure, but to be asked to do something that we really had no information on was really unsatisfactory to us, and we did not want to have anything to do with it. So we were ultimately able to tell the president, "Hey, guess what? You can deal with the dirty laundry yourself. Don't drop it on us. We don't want to wash it." So I'm glad that as delegates for our respective volunteer chapters across Ontario, we were able to tell our president that if there's a problem, if this person has indeed done something wrong, then deal with it yourself. Don't dirty our hands in it. We prefer to continue to work as best we can as volunteers, to work for you here in Ontario, to make the volunteer work that we do the best it can be. And if something has gone wrong, then don't make it our problem. Especially when we had no advance warning of it, and when we had no advance knowledge of either that this was going to happen. That the president comes out here and says, "Hey, guess what? Someone did something wrong, and we don't want them to be working for us anymore." So, at least, thankfully, the situation was diffused, because, quite honestly, that went on for over an hour, and you've heard the term a powder keg. Well, this was pretty much, you could have pretty much filled the entire room with powder kegs. It was just that intense, and it could have easily been set off at a moment's notice. But thankfully, everything worked out. So I'm just happy that we're able to move on with the conference and just say that, hey, we're moving on, we're happy to be moving on, and that we can finally get down to business the way it's supposed to be done. Because, yeah, it was my 9th year to attend this convention and this conference, and that has never happened before. It has never gotten that hairy or that dirty or that messy before, ever, and I'm just glad that cooler heads ultimately prevailed. Because if they didn't, I would have... I mean, who knows what could have happened. Definitely something I do not want to have to deal with again in the near future, or at all. And I pretty much can say the same for the rest of my fellow delegates. Oh, all can take it. Alright, that's really weird. Oh, let's see if I end up getting it. On top of that, I don't think we know where we're going. Well, I guess someone has an idea. And of course, an opportunity like this to further build my experience is definitely appreciated. In fact, once we get high enough, I'll be able to equip my new Lancer weapon. Because, yeah, we got one from the level 25 Lancer skill challenge in the previous episode, but I wasn't at a high enough experience level yet to equip it. But that'll change here in the Thousand Maws of Toto-Rak, I'm quite certain of it. Alright, that's dealt with. Where are we going, boys and girls? Yeah, because I haven't really had the opportunity to formally greet Aretz, Nana, or Shaden here in the Thousand Maws. Yeah, because, yeah, I wanted to talk about the conference and the convention that was just happening this past weekend that caused me to go without updating for a few days. Yeah, it's not a gaming convention like PAX or MagFest, but my resolve to one day be there and represent as a gamer with a disability would be just wonderful. And my determination to accomplish this is not going to go away anytime soon. I'm in it for the long haul, no matter how many videos I have to make or how many Let's Plays I have to do. Because I believe in what I'm doing. And the fact that you're coming here to support a privateer like myself is also a demonstration of this, and I'm truly grateful for your support. So as we're going along here, as you can see, I'm getting poisoned 3 times over. In fact, I'm almost dead. Thankfully, someone had my back. Thankfully, someone had my back, and I'm grateful. Because, yeah, I would hate to think what happens if things go horribly, horrendously wrong. Because, yeah, last time we were doing something, I ended up getting into a whole bunch of trouble. And I ended up getting killed off a couple of times because, yeah, this is the first instance raid we've had in some time. It's been about 2 weeks at least since we had an instanced raid. The last one we had was all the way back in, I think it was Copperbell Mines. In fact, I'm quite certain that's exactly what it was, that it was Copperbell Mines. That was the site of our last instanced raid. And when we went there, I'm quite certain that, in fact I know for a fact that at the final boss, someone's hasty actions resulted in us getting delayed on our victory for a long time. And so I'm just hoping that today is not going to serve as a repeat performance. Hopefully there is no one that is stupid enough to act so hastily as to sabotage his or her allies. Because we all need to work together in an instance raid. Or any side challenge like a guild test. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was a guild test challenge. Yeah, I've demonstrated one of those, but we haven't shown off any more since then. Yeah, we definitely killing off a lot of these guys. What you pretty much need to do in order to advance. It is the only way. What the? Okay, for some reason... Oh, and where are you guys going? Oh, are you getting... Oh, I see. I gotcha. I see where this is going. Yeah, we're all getting sucked in. Well, not me, but... Yeah, in this place you can get separated from your allies if a... big, large spiderweb goes up. Like the ones we're running into right now, actually, for that matter. Ow. Yeah. Yeah, you set off one and it just sets off everyone else. And that is definitely cause for concern. However, I remain undeterred in my pursuit to help out my allies. And hey, sometimes if it means me having to serve as the pawn to bring the enemies closer to us, then so be it. Yeah, we are definitely hitting these enemies with a whole slew of status ailments. I mean, when it comes to status ailments, they don't need my help, that's for sure. They're more than capable of handling themselves. Which I'm quite grateful for, thanks. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. You need to bust these down in order to keep going. And I don't know why we're going left when we could easily be fighting the boss, but maybe we have to take care of more stuff first. So we shall kill some mushrooms then. We shall kill some mushrooms. Now where do you think you're going? You wanted to make a pursuit of us. Now you're running away? Make up your mind, mushroom. Or is your brain just that mushy? Yeah, you knew I was gonna have to, one point or another, gonna have to do a Chugga Conroy impression. But this situation sets up perfectly for it. Yeah, I haven't done anyone else's impersonation of anyone else's intro yet for a few weeks. I should do that again. So, back over here. So we'll just wait for the terminal to be set off. And for another Curl 09 Tails to be attacking again. And I do not know what we are targeting. All I know is that this Curl 09 Tails is running around like a chicken with his head cut off, or at least it was. Well, now it still is. Make up your mind. Because you do not look like a curl. You look more like an Ochu. In fact, that's exactly what you are. Ochu, that is what you are. That was awful. But hey, at least I'm trying to keep it interesting. Oh, it brought in reinforcements. Okay, I see what's going on. But I'm also surprised that we're no longer focusing on Curl itself. Okay, it looks like our magician is gonna be burning them. Okay, it is collectively by the looks of it. I mean, that's essentially what you want. Oh, but damn, we've been slowed down. But, picking up right where we left off. Okay, the Warden's whips are dead, the reinforcements are gone. Now we're definitely blazing right through this place. And that is awesome. Oh, 2 chests. Ooh, Ethereal Duck's Goatskin Bills or Brigand's Actin. I need that. So I'll place some need on it. Okay, but it actually won't help me though. Alright, so I got it. Ow. Alright, I'll roll greed on the ducks. Oh, I got that too! Yeah, stall for long enough and you'll end up helping yourself to some more items. Fine by me. Yeah, that's what happens when you end up getting separated from your crew. You have to fight your way through the web and continue on. And as you can also see, we're now getting to some really gross parts of the Thousand Maws because, yeah, you are not saying things, that will be slime. That will be slime that was first made oh so famous back over 35 years ago by a Canadian television show, a famous Canadian television show entitled You Can't Do That on Television. And that's the television show that, even though it was Canadian, it helped make Nickelodeon the network that it is today. Or if it was not for You Can't Do That on Television, Nickelodeon in its current form would not even exist. So there would be really no SpongeBob SquarePants, there would be no Rugrats, there would be no iCarly, there would be no Big Time Rush. There would not be shows like that on if it wasn't for You Can't Do That on Television. So on behalf of all the people of Canada, to people who have ever worked for Nickelodeon in any capacity whatsoever, you're welcome. We're glad we could help. And I don't know if I should necessarily boast on behalf of all Canadians, but that's exactly what I just did. And I'm proud of that fact. That we gave the gift of slime that allowed Nickelodeon to become the network that it is today. All because of some crazy Canadians. Yeah, and the way that I know the Kids' Choice Awards was on the air a few weeks ago. I know for a fact that these days, when Nickelodeon slimes someone, they do it just because they can. But in a way, that kind of takes away the spirit of what the purpose of the slime was meant for. Because when You Can't Do That on Television was on the air, the slime was used to punish stupidity. When part of the gimmick of You Can't Do That on Television was, during various times throughout the show, the kids would be asked a question, and if they couldn't answer it, then they got slimed. So, yeah, back in the day, it was used to punish stupidity. Now it's just done arbitrarily. They can do it just because they can. Which is a shame, because I want to see slime once again being used to punish stupidity, because, let's face it, it's the kind of thing that really would make me smile, to see it once again used for that purpose, and not just done because you can do so. I mean, I've looked through a lot of YouTube videos where sliming takes place, and yeah, it's just done arbitrarily. It's not done for the purposes of what its original intentions were for. Okay, so looks like we made it to our last location, I guess. Yep. Now that we're in here, all that's left is to get to the end. So we're close to the finish line now. And we're definitely just burning through this place. I am very fortunate that the people who I am in this place with, who are synced at 27, are really knowledgeable about the Thousand Maws of Toto-Rak, because the fact that we're already on the doorstep of the final boss in less than 20 minutes is very awesome. Because, yeah, our last instance raids have gone well over in excess of 35 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So the fact that this is going on, and it's going by so much more effectively and efficiently, is really certainly a huge relief. I'm certain it is that way for you guys as well, as you're watching this. And you're finally seeing me in an instance raid for the first time in at least 2 or 3 weeks. Because it has been too long. Alright, let's go. Alright, Lightning Sprite. You want to shock us? No problem, we'll just shock you right back. Oh man, we're so close to gaining experience level. I'm guessing by the looks of what's going on, we're not going to be able to do what I hope to do and get an experience level 26 by the time we finish this place. Which is what I really would have liked to have had happen, so that way I can get my enhanced weapon to be able to be equipped, and also on top of that to have a new ability. Because yeah, there's a new ability involved as well. So let's have a look at the scene. Hopefully it will not be cut off. Okay, so we found someone else in here and... uh-oh. Oh, it's Cain is back. The Cain wannabe is back. Yeah, that's me. What do you want? Why did you choose your words with care there, Big Ugly?
If I deign to speak in my guest crude tongue. We meet at last.
Oh, and you think your language is more sophisticated? He's even gracious enough to take a bow, but obviously it's not out of respect.
I am Lahabrea of the Asians, servant to the one true God.
No, you're not. I am!
Yours is a most fantastical tale, truly absorbing. It is a tale to tell Eorzea's children before bedtime, and it will soon be dark, bringer of light.
We'll see about that.
The dark minions.
Oh, hey, it's Heidelin.
All that stands between this world and darkness is an irksome anomaly in the ether. The Echo.
Yeah, I just got a bit of a response from it.
Yours is a most fascinating tale.
Why, thank you.
Alas, like all good tales, it must needs come to an end. But fear not.
You're gonna try and kill me off here? Well, I guess with what you're summoning now. Yeah, it looks like an innocent little insect just wandering by.
Feel the presence of evil.
For the end of your tale is but the beginning of another. The tale of the crystal's demise.
Yeah, he's referring to Heidelin. But I shall not allow you to do this. And so the poor innocent insect, I guess, is now going to be made mega-sized right there. There it is. And Lahabrea is going to take off. So this is our boss for the Thousand Maws of Toto-Rak. Oh, okay, I'm ready. All ready to go. Yeah, so apparently someone is unaware that they're part of a Let's Play that I'm doing. But I'll give them credit. They probably have been through this before. I mean, they are synced to 27. So it does not surprise me that they want me to pick the pace, but hey, that was a prolonged cinematic sequence. That was a prolonged cinematic sequence, but you guys deserve to see what it looks like, because yeah, last time we were not so fortunate, because as we saw the last time we had an instance raid and someone decided to jump the gun, it caused a whole lot of chaos for our party that was simply inexcusable. We will not have such situations this time, however. I can assure you of that, because yeah, everyone was ready this time. Everyone was ready this time, and we've come here to bring our A game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the skin falls off of Graphius's tail. Nice. Ugh. Yes. From what I remember, I think you have to stay out of the slime as much as possible, or else you'll be poisoned. Or am I remembering that wrong? No, I think it may actually be for another place. Alright, well, the tail is shattered now. And its allies are soon to be dealt with. They will soon be out of the way. There's one gone. I have no idea what's happening to me right now. I don't know what that status element is at the top of my screen. But it matters not, because we're almost dead. Or, it's almost dead. Even though as more smites coming in, more come smites. Whoa! Blown away! But that's what happened to Graphius here. I mean, we just dominated this. Finally, we got a place completed in half an hour, and now I get the experience level. Thanks a lot. Thanks for happening too little too late. Nonetheless, we are victorious. There we go. We are prevailed. Alright. Player combination. Well, there's only one person left we can give it to, so... I guess it goes to you, Shaden, because I guess everyone decided to run off in a hurry. And we don't necessarily need the Book of Brass, but we'll claim it on greed. So that does it for the Thousand Maws of Toto-Rak. Done in, I guess you could call it record time, because we were fortunate to have the correct allies. So, let's not waste any time. I will meet you guys back over at Little Solace, where we'll hopefully bring an end to this. So, be back in a moment. Oh, the scene's not finished yet. I thought we were done, but apparently not. Oh yes, of course, we have to... we had to find the Sylph Elder and save it. Yeah, it looked like we were just going out, but no, we're not done yet. Yes, there's the Sylph Elder right there. Finally! Fresh air! Mayhap not so fresh, but better than before. Ah, sinister one is gone. This one can leave this awful place. Hello there. Did walking one vanquish the many-legged one? This one is grateful to walking one. Well, you're quite welcome. This one is called Frixio, eldest of these ones of Little Solace. Uh-oh, echo again. Echo again. And where are we getting warped to this time? Yeah, because La Habrea and his... yeah, La Habrea was not impressed by the fact that we use echo. Okay, yeah, here comes some Garlean soldiers. Imperial squad reporting, sir. Nothing of note at Lark's call, sir. Understood. Return to Area 12. Damn it all, where is that accursed icon hiding? Would that be this person right here? Scary Red Dragon? No sign of our wizened friend. I'm afraid not, my lord. Shall I order that the search perimeter be expanded? Absolutely not. We risk alerting the Gridonians to our presence. His Excellency bids us avoid unnecessary confrontation. Loath though I am to admit it, I have found no evidence to suggest that Ramuh will be gracing the mortal realm in the near future. I ask you, what good is a god who does not grant one's wishes? Were I a sylph, I should strongly consider finding myself another idol. Which reminds me, what of the sylphs we captured? A handful of them seemed to be in reasonably good health when I last looked. Apologies, my lord. I fear we may have been overzealous in our efforts to compel them to summon their icon. Really, Centurion, were you not aware that vegetables bruise easily? It is well that I did not entrust you with the important task of making my dinner. Well, mayhap it was a kindness. Better dead in truth than dead to one's own god, I suppose, if you believe in such things. Dawn is upon us. Make ready to withdraw. Yeah, they're ready to move out. Useless. We are so close to completion I can fair taste it, but at this rate... No, I mustn't be patient. Our efforts will bear fruit in due time. What was it you always said? Ah, yes. Though it mean bringing down the very heavens, who shall challenge the limits of possibility, if not we? In that case alone, you were right, Garland. But your star is long fallen while mine doth begin to rise. And it shall burn so bright, that Lord Van Balsar's ultimate weapon will seem a mere candle beside it. Ha 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 ha! Oh, looks like we were looking through the eyes of... Yeah, there's Frixio right there. These walking ones did for Noxia! This one is certain of it! This one fears that other taken ones also suffered the same fate. This one is convinced walking ones are black hearts, seek only to harm these ones. Walking ones are not to be trusted. Now, Noraxia, do not pass judgment too hastily. Not all walking ones are alike. Though there are evil ones among the walking ones, there are good ones also. And so, yeah, confronting the Sylph Elder causes the echo to occur. Once again. But yeah, it's been a while since we've actually seen the echo transpire. Yeah, come around there, Edie. Does walking one feel unwell? I can explain myself, sure. This one would know. What brings walking one to this place? And explain my reason for my presence. Came to this one's rescue at Noraxia's bidding? Then this one owes walking one a debt of gratitude. Walking one has questions about Lord Ramu? Then this one will provide answers. But first, let these ones quit this lightless place. This one will return to Little Solace. When walking one is ready, please come and see this one. These ones may speak properly then. Of course. What are you looking for, Elder? Then it is settled. Let this one accompany walking one outside. And so, away we go. With the entrance of the Thousand Maws is not where I'm currently at. While waiting for the duty to occur, I started to take on some side quests in regards to crafting. Oh, I come right back outside, right at the start. Oh wow. Okay, because yeah, this isn't where I was while waiting for the quest to begin. I was actually elsewhere. I was actually out near Gridania because in my quest to try and improve my Carpenter's Guild rank and my Carpenter experience level, I actually started doing botany. I've added botany into my collection of responsibilities, and I've gotten myself up to level 4. But yeah, it definitely takes a long time to do the botany. However, we'll set that aside for now and speak with Buscaron. Ah, Yarak, tell me the Sylph Elder as well. Thank the gods for that. I don't rightly know what to make of the rest of your tale, but I'm full glad Frixio didn't come to any harm. Ah, but there I go, tempting fate. Run over to Little Solace and secure us peace with the Sylphs before aught else befalls us, eh? Rest assured, I'll send word to our friends of Charlayan and the Twin Adder both. You've done Gridania a great service this day, lad, and earn yourself a place of honor here at the Druthers in so doing. Be sure to come by, and whenever you feel like a drop of Kakiran firewater. And so, the task is completed. At last. And, yeah, Buscaron has another challenge. Ophelia also has a challenge. But I want to equip my new Lancer's Arm right here, the Silver Battle Fork. There we go. Alright, so, yeah, I'm gonna speak with Buscaron again. Has a level 24 challenge entitled A Simple Gift. Buscaron has something he wants delivered to the Sylphs, because, yeah, I figure we might as well just finish this. Say, friend, there's something I'd like to ask you to see delivered to the Sylphs of Little Solace. This Azuma Rose Oil. It's a gift to celebrate the safe return of their tribe's elder, and a token of Gridania's desire to unite. The wood is not what it once was. The calamity changed the elementals, weakened them. Until their strength is returned, we must lend them ours to keep the wood safe. But ours alone will not be enough. We must have the strength of the Sylphs as well. Only by working together and fighting together will we survive together, and the 12s would with us. The gift I ask you to bear is a symbol of the hope that both Gridanian and Sylph alike will live to see the light beyond this darkness. Alright, so I guess we know where we're going next. So, since Little Solace is back over in the East Shroud, I will meet you guys back in the East Shroud, so be back in a moment. Okay, yeah, this took a little longer than it should have, because guess what? On my way back here, I had to take a phone call, and while I was taking said phone call, the game froze, and so I had to reset the game and start all over. Well, not start all over as far as having to do the Thousand Maws of Toto-Rak again, but at least I was able to make it here to Little Solace before the game froze. So yeah, we have a gift for Nolexia, so let's go ahead and give it to her. A gift from Walking One Buscaron? A gift for these ones? Yeah, some Azuma Rose Oil for you. Such a lovely scent! This one has never smelled anything like this before! Walking One Buscaron and Adventuring One are very kind. Know that this one is deeply grateful. Many Walking Ones are scary. Many Walking Ones utter many lies and much deception, but this one is moved. Let all these ones be friends forever! And so, that task is completed, and we could even take another quest from Nolexia if we so desire. In fact, there are quite a number of ones we could take. But we are more interested in speaking with Frixio again, so we have to complete the challenge of speaking with the Sylph Elder. So, we have this level 24 challenge called Believe in Yourself. Frixio wants you to discuss peace with Frixio. At long last. Yeah, it took a while to get to this point, but at long last we can finally reach the climax of this pursuit here in the East Shroud. This one has been expecting Walking One. This one fetches Elder One. There won't even be a need for that, because here comes said Elder One. Frixio, good to see you again. This one is pleased to see Walking One again. Welcome to the home of these ones. Oh, Ida Papalimo, are you sure you're not going to botch things up again like you did last time? Ah, there you are, Edie. We've just been hearing tell of your deeds of daring do. Well done. Oh, the Walking Ones who aided Noraxia. This one is grateful. A pleasure to have been of service. If you do not mind my asking, how did your misadventure come about? This one does not mind. The misadventures, as Walking One calls them, of this one began when Imperial Ones entered the wood. Fearing trouble, these ones decided to watch Imperial Ones closely. But these ones watched too closely, and Imperial Ones noticed and tried to catch these ones. Having nowhere else to hide, this one fled into Toto-Rak. Would that this one had not. In Toto-Rak, a sinister one robed in black tried to feed this one to a many-legged one. A sinister one robed in black? Why do I have the feeling I should be more worried about that than I am? Yeah, it's definitely a thought you need to take into consideration. Elder Frixio, we come to you as emissaries of the nation of Gridania. This missive bears the words of the Elder Seedseer. Yeah, now I can finally present it to the Elder. This one sees, so walking ones of Gridania are fearful of Lord Ramu. Plainly put, yes. Your people summoned the Lord of Leven but once, yet that single occurrence caused great alarm. But it's not as if the Gridanians dislike you or anything. Actually, it's just the opposite. They think of you as friends, and they don't want anything to get in the way of that. That's why the Elder Seedseer wrote to you. This one well knows and respects Horned One Kane Senna. Be assured, like walking ones of Gridania, these ones have no desire for conflict. These ones resorted to summoning Lord Ramu to protect the wood from Imperial ones. This one counseled against doing so, but was not heeded. Against this one's wishes, Lord Ramu was summoned, and all those ones who took part became touched ones. These ones want so desperately to turn touched ones back into normal ones, but did not know how, and still do not know. Yeah, and there would be Ramu. Touched ones, meanwhile, want to turn these ones into touched ones, and did know how. So this one fled to Little Solace with all those ones who did not wish to be bound to Lord Ramu. But walking ones of Gridania need not fear touched ones or Lord Ramu. Unlike other primal ones, Lord Ramu is not callous and cruel. So long as walk-kicking ones do not trespass on these ones' ancestral homeland where touched ones reside, walking ones will not suffer thunderous judgment. Well, that's definitely good to hear. But this one has spoken enough of touched ones. This one would speak instead of these ones. As this one said, these ones desire peace with walking ones of Gridania. And so these ones ask for a chance to set things right. By the way of an addendum, mortals who are tempered come to take on the qualities embodied by the primal in question. In the case of the Sylphs, Ramu's influence has made them fiercely protective of their homeland. That explains why they're so hostile towards trespassers. But what about the abductions? A fine question, Nita. The abductions are, I believe, an expression of the tempered Sylph's desire for reconciliation, another quality traditionally associated with Ramu. In the crudest manner imaginable, they seek to bring their fellows back into the fold, a timely reminder that the challenges posed by each primal are unique. Elder Frixio, we thank you for making your will known to us. The people of Gridania will rest easier in the knowledge that they and the Sylphs are united in their desire for peace. Wishing to cooperate, this one has written down the feelings of these ones. Please see that these feelings are conveyed to Horned One Kane Senna. And so I shall bestow your words there, Elder. And with that, I believe we can lay the matter of Ramu to rest. That Sylph Elder is very reasonable, I must say. You can learn a lot from him. Was that a jibe? If so, I feel it only fair to observe that one of us wouldn't recognize reason if it punched her on the nose. Did I say fair? I meant reasonable. And poor Ida. I guess it would help if she wasn't always wearing the blindfold. Anyway, we're going to head back to the Waking Sands and tell Nymphilia all about it. Fear not, we will be sure to mention the instrumental part you played in all of this. And while we see to that, we would appreciate it if you would deliver Frixio's missive to the Adder's Nest. Elder Frixio, we humbly thank you for your time. It has been an honor. The honor is this one's. Together, let the walking ones of Gridania and these ones find a way to live in peace. And so, they take their leave. Please wait, Walking One, Edie. This one has yet to give Walking One a token of this one's appreciation. When these ones summoned Lord Ramu, these ones were gifted this crystal. This one would now bestow the crystal upon Walking One as a symbol of these ones' trust. And so, said crystal is now bestowed upon me, and in so doing, we will now have a total of 3 crystals. Having received crystals from Heidelin by default, as well as by defeating Ifrit, now we claim one from Elder Frixio for Lord Ramu. So that's 3 down, and 3 to go. And I have to say, we're making really good time. We might just get all 6 crystals before the 75 days comes to a close. And if that happens, that would be awesome. That would definitely be awesome. Can only hope that it does work out in that regard. This one was not mistaken about Walking One. Yeah, come around, Edie. Walking One is destined to walk a fate far crueler than this one can imagine. A brilliant light from within Walking One enveloped the crystal this one saw. Mark this one well. That crystal will be of use to Walking One. Walking One must keep that crystal safe at all times. Before Walking One returns to Gridania, this one would ask Walking One to watch Touched Ones. So long as Touched Ones are not troubled, Touched Ones will not make trouble. If Walking One witnesses Touched Ones making no trouble, mayhap Walking One can testify to Walking Ones of Gridania that these ones mean no harm. This one's homeland is fraught with danger. This one marks down safe places to look out for Touched Ones. And so, yeah, that'll be the last thing that we have to do as part of this challenge. Although it really wasn't much of a challenge, it was just more of a conversation, as it were. And in addition to that, we will be standing lookout east of Little Solace to officially get the challenge underway. So yeah, let's put a little spring in our step, and we'll go across this bridge over here, because yeah, the jump in the enemy's experience levels is going to go way up. How far up? Try level 40. Yeah, and there's a touched one right there. Yeah, in fact, there's quite a few bunch of touched ones. Alright. So, what I want to do is, now that I'm standing where I need to stand, let's change emotes and go on lookout, wherever that is. Here we are, lookout. Yeah, so you just stand there, execute the lookout, and that will help us to complete the proceedings. As we look around at the purple sylphs, the touched ones affected by Ramu, there are tempered sylphs in the distance. You do not sense that they pose a danger if left alone. But they're getting a little too close, I think, to me. But we did what we have to do, and now having done that, we do not have to go back to Little Solace. We can just simply go back to New Gridania, which is convenient since the Adder's Nest is actually located in New Gridania, so that helps. So, we can now make it a point to talk with Vorse Hulwa, and in so doing, bring the quest and the day to a close, because, yeah, we're coming up on 50 minutes here. Certainly a lot taken care of. We got the Thousand Maws of Toto-Rak taken care of in record time, and in so doing, we were also able to advance the story a bit. That will ultimately allow us to climax this particular chapter of the Realm Reborn. So right over here to the Adder's Nest, to let the Serpent Commander Vorsai Hulwa that we have completed his task. Oh, if it isn't Edie, how went the meeting with the Sylphs? Well, it went so well, we have a letter from the Elder. A missive from the Sylph Elder himself, if I may. So the Sylphs have no desire for conflict, nor do they intend to summon Ramuh. And so long as we leave the Tempered Ones be, we need not fear any aggression on their part. The Elder Seedseer will be overjoyed to hear that the Sylphs have welcomed our overtures, and in the knowledge that they bear us no ill will, we may channel our resources towards tackling the more conspicuous threats to our security. You have done this nation a great service, my friend. On behalf of all Gordanians, I give you my thanks. So, that's that. So, we can now bring the day's recording to a close. Even though Vorsai has our next challenge, we can take care of this another time. So, with that all taken care of, with the Sylphs now behind us, we can now move on to our next task, whatever that may be. But I have some other things in mind as well, and we'll be taking care of those over the course of the next couple of days. And we'll also be able to get back on track with our regularly scheduled uploads of this Let's Play. So, with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. And when I join you again tomorrow, we will pick up one regularly scheduled uploads as we see not only what Vorsai has for us next, but we're also going to do some side quests, as it were, and in regards to helping to build up my Grand Company status. And it'll also help us as well to take on a new task that will involve getting something that a number of people already have here in the Realm Reborn, and so hopefully we'll be able to get that as well. So, until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Navora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.